Greenpeace International is having a rough go of it these days. They are being thrown out of India, the world's second largest country by population, the world's largest democracy, and a place that is very concerned about feeding its people with nutritious rice. So that's why in India they are interested in golden rice, which is a genetically modified rice that has beta-carotene in it, which stops children from going blind. They and other people in the third world demand better for their own people. Greenpeace demands worse. Greenpeace is in a war against genetically modified foods, not so much in North America, where all our corn and sugar and soybeans and most of our yogurt actually is GMO. They prefer to pick on poor, starving people. Anyways, Greenpeace India is being thrown out for all sorts of other irregularities too, not just their odious anti-India politics, but charges of sexual harassment and even of rape. Greenpeace India is in the course of being thrown out of that country by a disgusted population. Well, it's not just India where they're on the run. I see now that in Australia there is a parliamentary inquiry to strip Greenpeace of its charitable status there. See, Greenpeace in Australia does what Greenpeace does in Canada. It commits crimes. And in this case, it committed another anti-GM food crime. It went in with a whippersnipper to cut down genetically modified wheat. Now, who needs genetically modified wheat? You and I don't. We're already overly fed. I could probably do with a lot less food in my life. But I'm not a starving person. In Asia, genetically modified wheat would be drought resistant, flood resistant, resistant to all sorts of pests. You wouldn't need as much fertilizer or pesticide. GM wheat could help feed the world, and yet Greenpeace broke into an experimental farm with a whippersnipper, destroying in a criminal action this GM product. And yet they are a charity. No wonder they're having their charitable status removed, and I hope they do. Why should somebody who commits crimes as a corporate mission, as a corporate goal, also have charitable status? It makes no sense, and Australia looks like it might do what we in Canada already did. Canada stripped Greenpeace of its charitable status twice, actually. Once when Jean Chrétien was Prime Minister, and once when Brian Mulroney was Prime Minister. It's not a partisan thing. It's just, are you breaking the laws of the country? And in Canada's case, yeah, they were breaking the Income Tax Act. I think we should go further, though, and I think Australia and India should, too. See, there's a part of our law called a criminal organization section of the Criminal Act. It's basically the Canadian version of the RICO statute that's meant for going after gangs and other syndicates. RICO is Racketeer Influenced Corrupt Organizations. That's what it stands for in the States. It was basically used to go after the mafia, the mob. If you couldn't quite pin down who was the decision maker because of the code of silence, if someone was affiliated with the mob, you could get to them that way. That's what the RICO statute was in the States. Well, we have a form of the RICO statute in Canada, this criminal organization provision. Now, it's obviously a very high standard because it's a criminal provision, but if as part of an organization to commit serious crimes for the benefit of that organization, and that crime is committed using identification or markings of the criminal gang, you can prosecute the whole organization, not just the foot soldier who commits the crime. You can go after the ringleaders, the bosses, the financiers. Again, this is how they broke the gangs as far as they did in New York. I'm not saying that Greenpeace is guilty of the crime of being a criminal organization. We know for a fact that they are guilty of various offenses in Canada, more recently in Calgary, of breaking out of the Calgary Tower and vandalism. They commit vandalism and mischief all the time. But look, these aren't isolated acts. These are not truly individual acts that Greenpeace commits. They are part of, in my mind, a larger organization whose fundraising model is commit a crime, make a lot of fundraising donations off the crime. So being a criminal is actually part of their business plan. Maybe we should take a look at that in Canada, just like they seem to be doing in Australia. For TheRebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant.